So more on the system of Gaokao and what we should learn about it. We're joined in the studio by my colleague, Wu Haojun. Good evening, Haojun.
Good evening.
We know millions of students took Gaokao every year, and to a certain extent that we're in the future of that candidate. But tell us, what exactly is the system? How does Gaokao work?
Well, first of all, Chinese students are in a bit of a love-hate relationship with the Gaokao. It's something that people regard as you have to experience once in your life, but it's not just the result of which is life-changing, but the experience itself is really life-transforming. First, let's put a little bit of a context here. In 2015, 75% of students who took the National College Entrance Exam were accepted into some sort of tertiary educational institution. But that number could be misleading as well. Only one really out of 10 exam takers were granted admission into China's so-called first-tier universities. And that's where the stakes are really high. Here's how the exam works. There are 2 or 3 full days of exams in early June. Test topics depend on the policies of a province, but usually students take tests about Chinese, English, math, and usually a combination of liberal arts or science-oriented subjects. And the vast majority of people take this as a once-in-a-lifetime exam. Not that technically they can't retake it, but they find the whole experience too stressful and unbearable to do it a second time. Most schools cram 3 years of high school education into 2 years and save the final year only for exam preparations. That means drills day after day after day. And when the stakes are high, the stress, well, is very high too. Some parents resort to praying at local temples as a way to relieve stress, but exam takers don't get to let their hair down until it's all done. Then it's really a national cathartic experience. It may involve hugging, crying, and ripping up textbooks and practice exam papers. It may seem a little extreme, but it's certainly no ordinary experience. So, yeah.
Yes, indeed. A lot of people have been through that. And also, the Chinese university rely on this kind of institution to screen talents, just to select the best and the brightest. But it's by no means a perfect system. What are the criticisms that Gaokao has received?
Yes, the important issue of fairness is really what's always been put into question here. Throughout the past decades, the National College Entrance Exam has given Chinese students a relatively level playing field. Barring cases of corruption, really, it doesn't really matter if students come from a wealthy or a poor family. Score is really the only thing that matters. Your parents' alumni status certainly won't be able to help you in any way like it does in the U.S., say. However, China's best universities are mostly located in the country's most economically developed and affluent municipalities and provinces. For example, the Chinese capital of Beijing is home to some 20-plus first-tier universities, while the southern island of province of Hainan claims only one. And the problem is these universities actually get to set their own admissions quota for each province and always favoring their own. In 2015, the admissions rate for students from Beijing into first-tier universities was about 25%. For Hainan, it's a mere 10%. It's even lower for Sichuan. Government officials and experts have long known this regional discrimination, but the most used line of defense has been that Gaokao, well, it's not perfect, but it's the best we got. But for parents and students now, there's simply too much at stake to let things remain. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for thorough explanation.